It's time for our final centennial moment. Today we want to celebrate our church. We want to start by looking at the prayer band. The prayer band was started by a group of young people who had moved to Charlotte from the South Carolina area. They came together to worship God and to praise Him and to give His name all the glory. In 1932, God sent Reverend Winfield Scott to the church, and he was responsible and instrumental in getting them to move into the Gillfield Baptist Church building. They spent many years there worshiping and praising and thanking God. Then in 1952, he blessed the congregation with the presence of Reverend Davidson. Reverend Davidson's inspiration from God was to lead the church into a new building. And at that time, we moved into the Mount Olivet Baptist Church on the corner of 10th and Brevard. We spent many productive years there. Our Sunday school grew, our church grew. And then in 1955, Dr. L.J. Shipman was called to be the pastor of our church. During Dr. Shipman's tenure, our church continued to grow. However, in 1959, we experienced a tremendous tragedy. We were in the church that Sunday morning, the first Sunday in February, preparing for communion, when one of the ushers saw smoke coming from the basement. All of us exited the church very quickly, but the building was completely destroyed by fire. Our congregation was devastated, but God sent the Myers Park Baptist Church and a gentleman named Mr. W.L. Swantes to us to assist us in getting funding for our new church. The church voted and decided to move from the First Ward area to the University Park area. After some difficult conversations, it was voted on that we would change the name of our church to University Park Baptist Church. God also sent the C.D. Spangler family, father and son. The father donated the land upon which we built University Park Baptist Church and the parsonage. And to enable us to finish furnishing the church, God sent his son, C.D. Spangler Jr., and his wife to provide funding that would enable us to do so. Reverend Shipman's tenure ended in 1964, and the church called Reverend Watkins. Under Reverend Watkins' leadership, we grew, our church continued to progress, and we continued to learn of God's glory and His presence in our congregation. In 1971, Reverend Watkins decided that he wanted to return to his former church, and we called Reverend Palmer. Reverend Palmer came and spent many years with us. With the exception of Bishop, he had the longest tenure of pastor at our church. During Reverend Palmer's tenure, we grew, the church expanded in such a way that it was necessary for us to build a new edifice. And in 1982, we moved into the Keller Avenue building, the new Keller Avenue building. We spent many years there, and Reverend Palmer decided that he would leave us in 1990. In 1990, God sent us a jewel of a pastor in the form of Reverend Claude Richard Alexander Jr. Under Reverend Alexander's leadership, our church has experienced tremendous growth, not only in numbers, but in campus sites, where we walked from Gillfield to Mount Olivet. We rode from Keller Avenue to Beatty's-Ford Road in limousines. All of this under the leadership of Bishop Alexander. Not only did we expand on Beatty's-Ford Road, but we expanded to South Mecklenburg High School, then to our South Charlotte location, and more importantly and most of all, to our Independence building. And now, Park family, not only do we have a presence here in Charlotte, an outstanding presence, but we have a presence in the country of Kenya. Park family, it's now time for you to stand and celebrate what God has done by allowing us to live 100 years of faith and showing us that the best is yet to come.